Hi guys, so I decided to do activity 1 for this module, and we were asked to describe and talk about a celebrity who is living with ADHD currently. I decided to research Howie Mandel. I'm a fan of America's Got Talent, and recently I found out that he suffers from not only ADHD, but he also suffers from OCD. He has it severely and has for several years now. So in the articles that Howie has released information to, he's talked about symptoms of being restless, impulsive, having rapid thoughts, and it's very difficult for him to concentrate on just one thing at a time, and sitting still in one place at a time and just listening to one conversation for too long. It gets to be very overwhelming for him. To deal with his symptoms, Howie stated in the article I researched that he does take medication to treat the symptoms, and he also partakes in psychotherapy, and he sees several different therapists to keep his symptoms in control. It also helps him feel like he has a little bit more control over the disorder, that it's not controlling his life, and his family life and his social life. So he says that does help. And he also, to manage his symptoms, he writes about his disorder. He actually just released a book recently, discussing the things he goes through on a regular basis, dealing with ADHD and symptoms of anxiety that come from his ADHD and the OCD he experiences, and how he deals with those through his job as a host, a writer, a mental health advocate. So he says connecting with the public really does help with his symptoms. And Howie stated in a recent article that even though he wasn't diagnosed with ADHD or any of his disorders till he was an adult, he did say that he has experienced symptoms since he was a child. Growing up in the 1960s, however, there wasn't really a title for the symptoms he was experiencing, so ADHD wasn't a proper term for what was happening to him. So he said that was really hard while growing up because his parents and his classmates and his teachers, no one really knew what was going on other than he couldn't focus in class, and he couldn't really focus in on anything academically or physical activities or anything. It was very hard for him to just focus on one task at a time. And the last question that we were asked was, how do you think ADHD positively impacted and influenced this person's life versus being seen as strictly pathological and dysfunctional? Howie, it seems like this disorder actually positively impacted his career in comedy, because in comedy you don't have to be so serious and focused on one thing at a time. His disorder actually helped him because he could move around and he could do things to enhance his acts and make people laugh from it. So he says that's how the disorder has impacted him as a positive way, and as a host it's made him, his personality very outgoing, and he's very energetic, which is great for television and things like America's Got Talent and game shows. So he's been very successful. It has made him successful in his career as a host, as a comedian, and it also helps with his mental health advocacy as well, showing people that you can have a positive life and positive outcomes from the disorder. It doesn't always have to be negative. He stated in an article that rather than dwelling on his insecurities and symptoms, he turned them into jokes. And it has helped him connect with his fans and with thousands and thousands of people across the world who also suffer with these disorders. So even though that the disorders have had a complex and difficult impact on his life and his family life at points, he says that the disorder has actually helped his career, and it helps him connect with so many other people who are going through the same thing. But that is my video, so I will look out for comments from you guys, and I will look forward to watching your videos.